everyone, I'm out here in this wheelie bin full of spent soil. Landon just dug out a bunch of potatoes that got accidentally planted in there. Here's all the potato vines that Landon pulled out, and he took a good amount of potatoes that had developed through the season and he took them indoors. So I'm out here because I spotted cocoons on the surface of this bin. I asked Landon when he was digging up the potatoes whether he spotted any worms, and he said it's far too dry. But look what I found already. There is no doubt we're in a drought, and this wheelie bin was open to the elements, but we've only had 1/20th of an inch of rain in the last 2 months. So the potatoes obviously grabbed what they could early in the spring and sucked all the remaining moisture out of this bin. But I know we had spent soil in this wheelie bin, so there must have been worms at some point, and perhaps they left behind some cocoons. They're floating in that water is what looks like cocoons. So are these cocoons going to develop into worms? But there's a twist. I'm also finding lots of little undeveloped potatoes in here. Some of these undeveloped potatoes look very much like worm cocoons. On the nodules of the potato vines, I'm finding little tiny bumps. There, see that little bump? That looks very much like a worm cocoon. So I'm thinking, is that what I'm finding in here? Just little undeveloped potatoes? That, it's hard. Don't know whether I'd be able to tell the difference. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take those cocoons and put them somewhere nice and moist and see whether some viable worms develop. All right, I'll do some more digging and see how many cocoons I get first. Oops, there's a developed potato. Oh, I'll take that indoors for Landon. So I probably found about 25 or 30 cocoons. These were bone dry, so the fact that they look a bit glistening now is because obviously I put them in this moist conditions in this container, and these cocoons survive being months without any moisture. I'm going to see if they develop into worms or potatoes. First, I have to put them in conditions that I know there are no other worms or worm cocoons. I have this tub of coconut coir that I use to try to take some cuttings from our property. The cuttings unfortunately didn't survive the winter, but because this coconut coir is right next to the hose bib, up until very recently I've been watering it in the hopes that some of these cuttings would have come back to life. I recently pulled all the cuttings from this material. You can see there's still some straggly organic material in the coconut coir. So this is about as sterile in terms of having worms in it. It's suitably moist for these cocoons to see if they are cocoons or potatoes. So I'm just going to keep these cocoons isolated in this dish and put them somewhere where we can see what develops. I'm not satisfied this coconut coir is moist enough. Cocoons like it really moist, and these were dehydrated. So I'm just gonna mist them down here, probably bring the humidity up to about 85%. That should be enough for optimum conditions. I'm also going to put them in a shady spot in my greenhouse. We have temperatures in there now about 85 degrees Fahrenheit or about 30 degrees Celsius. And I'm just going to cover the top so that the material doesn't dehydrate. A bonus of digging through that dry wheelie bin was I found all these unharvested potatoes. Nick the gardener, a great channel to follow. See the link in the description. I think calls these piddly potatoes or little piddlers. Perfect description. And because I just couldn't tolerate the chance that there are cocoons in here that are dehydrated, I dumped actually 2 buckets of water into this wheelie bin. Come back in a few days and we'll see what develops from those dehydrated cocoons. Bye for now.